Hello, everyone. Welcome back to another journey into hidden history. Close your eyes for a moment. Imagine you are in Paris, the city of lights, the city of romance. What is the first thing you see in your mind? That tall, elegant iron lattice structure that touches the sky. It is the symbol of Paris and one of the most famous buildings in the entire world. Millions of people visit it every year. They take elevators to the top, they look at the beautiful view of the city, and they take pictures. They think they have seen everything the tower has to offer, but they are wrong. Most visitors have no idea that at the very top of the tower, hidden away from the public eye, there is a secret that has been there since the very beginning, in 1889. Today, we are going to open the door to that secret. We are going to visit the private apartment of the man who built the tower, Monsieur Gustave Eiffel. It is a story about engineering, jealousy, science, and a very exclusive meeting of geniuses high above the clouds. To understand the secret apartment, we first need to understand the man Gustave Eiffel. He was a brilliant engineer. He was known as the magician of iron. Before the tower, he built bridges and train stations all over the world. He even built the metal framework inside the Statue of Liberty in New York. He loved iron. He believed it was the material of the future. When the city of Paris wanted to build a giant monument for the 1889 World's Fair, Eiffel had a bold idea. He wanted to build the tallest structure human beings had ever created, a tower made entirely of open lattice wrought iron. It was a crazy idea at the time. Nothing like it had ever been built. Many people in Paris hated the idea. Famous writers, painters, and architects signed a petition against it. They called it a useless and monstrous black smokestack. They said it would ruin the beauty of Paris. Gustave Eiffel was hurt by these words, but he did not give up. He believed in his vision. He knew it would be beautiful. He financed a lot of the construction with his own money. He was not just the engineer, he was the owner. And as the owner, he decided to keep a small part of his giant creation just for himself. A little sanctuary at the very top, nearly 300 meters in the air. The construction of the tower took 2 years, 2 months, and 5 days. It was a miracle of engineering. When it was finished in 1889, it was the tallest man-made structure in the world. It remained the tallest for 41 years, until the Chrysler Building was built in New York. On the opening day, Gustave Eiffel climbed the 1,710 steps to the top to raise the French flag. The public was amazed. They loved it. The tower was a huge success, but while the public crowded the lower platforms, Eiffel had his own private space on the 3rd level, the highest platform. Let's imagine we are allowed into this secret space in 1889. You step out of the cold, windy iron structure and open a simple door. Suddenly, you are in a different world. The apartment was not large, only about 100 square meters, but it was incredibly cozy and comfortable. It felt like a typical Parisian home of a wealthy person in the 19th century. It was decorated in a warm bourgeois style. The walls were covered in beautiful patterned wallpaper. There were soft carpets on the floor to keep it warm. It was furnished with dark wooden tables, comfortable velvet chairs, and sofas. There were oil paintings on the walls. There was even a grand piano. Imagine playing the piano nearly 300 meters above the ground with the whole city of Paris below you. It had a small kitchen, a bathroom, and a living room. But strangely, it did not have a bedroom. Gustave Eiffel never actually slept there. He used it as a place to work, a place to rest during the day, and a place to entertain very special guests. The contrast must have been incredible. Outside, the raw industrial iron and the loud howling wind. Inside, a quiet, warm, carpeted room with soft furniture. It was his personal nest in the sky. You might wonder, why did he build it? Was it just to show off? No. Gustave Eiffel was a man of science. He knew that the city only allowed the tower to stand for 20 years. After 20 years, in 1909, the plan was to tear it down. Eiffel did not want his masterpiece to be destroyed, so he had to prove that the tower was useful. He used his apartment and the top of the tower as a scientific laboratory. It was the perfect place for experiments because it was so high up. He did many meteorological experiments. He studied the wind, the temperature, and the weather patterns. He dropped objects from the top to study gravity and air resistance. Later, the tower became crucial for radio transmissions. Because of its scientific value, the city decided not to tear it down. So, in a way, Eiffel's love for science, which started in that little apartment, saved the tower. Soon, news about this secret apartment spread among the high society of Paris. Everyone wanted to see it. It was the most exclusive place in the city. Many wealthy people offered Gustave Eiffel huge amounts of money just to rent the apartment for one night. They wanted to stay in the highest room in Paris. But Eiffel always refused. Money was not important to him. This was his private sanctuary. He only invited his family and his closest friends. It was a place for quiet reflection and intellectual conversation, not for loud parties. One of the most famous days in the history of the apartment was September 10th, 1889. On this day, Gustave Eiffel hosted a very special guest. It was the great American inventor Thomas Edison. Edison was visiting Paris for the World's Fair. He admired Eiffel's work very much. He called Gustave Eiffel the brave builder of so gigantic and original a specimen of modern engineering. Eiffel invited Edison to his private apartment at the top of the tower. Imagine these two geniuses together in that small, cozy room above the clouds. The man who mastered iron and built the tallest tower, and the man who mastered electricity and lit up the world. They must have had incredible conversations about the future of technology and science. Edison did not come empty-handed. He brought a gift for Eiffel. It was one of his newest inventions, a phonograph. A phonograph was an early machine that could play recorded sound. It was magical technology at the time. There is a story that Edison even played a recording in the apartment. Imagine the sound of music playing from a machine high up in the sky in 1889. It was a meeting of two great minds that shaped the modern world. For many years after Gustave Eiffel died in 1923, the apartment was closed. It became a legend, a mystery. People forgot about it, or they thought it was just a myth. But today, if you visit the top of the Eiffel Tower, you can see it. You cannot go inside because it is too small and fragile. But you can look through the windows. The apartment has been restored to look exactly like it did in Eiffel's time. Inside, you can see wax figures of Gustave Eiffel and Thomas Edison. They are sitting and talking. Eiffel's daughter, Claire, is also there in the background. The phonograph is on a table between them. It is like a moment frozen in time. When you look into that room, try to forget the crowds of tourists around you. Try to imagine the silence of that room in 1889. Imagine Gustave Eiffel sitting there alone, looking out over the city he loved. He had many enemies and critics, but up there he was above it all. He was in his own world, surrounded by the iron he loved and the science he believed in. It was his reward for having the courage to build something impossible. The story of the secret apartment reminds us that even in the most public and famous places, there can be hidden corners. It reminds us that the people who build great things are also human. They need a place to rest, a place to dream, and a place to be themselves. Gustav Eiffel built a tower for the world, but he kept the very top for himself. So, the next time you see a picture of the Eiffel Tower, don't just look at the iron shape. Look at the very top tip, and remember the cozy little room hidden there. Remember the two old men, Eiffel and Edison, talking about the future while the world watched from below. It is a beautiful secret that makes the Iron Lady feel a little more human. Thank you for listening to this story from the clouds. We hope you enjoyed this visit to Gustav Eiffel's private world. Keep looking for the secrets hidden in plain sight. See you in the next episode.